Yay, school time. I am sick. I have a cold and it sucks, and I'm sore from dance. But let's do this. I have a quiz I have to do today for this. I'm so lucky that God has been gracious to me this week and given me, I think, a lighter workload. Oh, okay, thumbs up. This week with everything, and I have a flex day tomorrow with. No, Friday. Sorry, because today's Wednesday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do logic. And I have a flex day on Friday. It says study for the quiz and flex day, finish any unfinished work. Today I decided I should have done this history yesterday, but I didn't do school yesterday because I had like dance classes during the day. And so I would do logic. I would spend this time doing logic, but I can actually spend that time doing history since Friday is a flex day on logic. So the logic I was going to do today, I can do on Friday. Super happy about that. So we're going to be studying and memorizing because I have my quiz right now that I have to take. I'm just doing some extra studying, and then I'm going to take my quiz. This is just to get my memory going and memorize all these people. Let's see. First off, little lecture time. Yay. That was a very long intro. I'm sorry. Anyways, lecture is on kind of Louis the Pious's empire a bit more, Charlemagne's son. I guess it started with Charlemagne, which I did the last chapter. His big empire and everything. Then he had a son named Louis the Pious. Charlemagne really wanted to have a united Christian kingdom, and his son Louis the Pious wanted the exact same thing. So, Louis wanted to unite the entire kingdom under his eldest son, Lothar I. But at this time, it was very common, and it was the tradition, it was what you did, was you would divide the kingdoms between your sons. So his other 3 sons, one of them died, so we'll say, who cares? His other 2 sons did not like this, because they thought that they were not getting their part of their inheritance that they earned. They were like, we deserve a part of this kingdom as equal rulers, because he was gonna give them little places or lordship to rule over, but Lothar would be above them, ruling over them simultaneously over all of Charlemagne. Oh no, Carolingian Empire. I don't know why that escaped me. Over the entire Carolingian Empire. So eventually, after a lot, they decided to come to the partition of Verdun in 843. In 843, yes, whereby Lothar I was given the title emperor, but the kingdom was divided into 3 parts between them. So Lothar I had the middle part, and he was given of the kingdom, and he was given the title emperor. Charles the Bald became the king of the Western Franks, and Louis became the German king of the Eastern Franks. And that is how the kingdom was divided by the partition of Verdun in 843. And now how they divided the kingdom, it wasn't by territorial lines, since even though there was a kingship and a monarchy, the people didn't care about that. They cared about the vassal system. It's like the secret, what really ran the government, the vassal system, the vassalage system. So it was divided according to who the king's vassals were. Because you didn't want your vassals you didn't want your brother's vassals in your kingdom that were loyal to him and not you. So you needed to have the separate lines in that. And that's kind of how it was separated at that time. And I also have to recite all this stuff. Alfred the Great was the Saxon king who defeated the Vikings at Edington and created a system of burhs or fortifications, what we would call castles, all around England. Danegeld, D-A-N-E-G-A-L-E-D, I don't know. Anyways, it was kind of like gold, I suppose. It was a ransom to pay off Vikings. I don't know how to pronounce it, Danegeld. I know how to spell it and write it. Normandy, meaning land of the Northmen, was a region of the Seine River Valley that was given to the Vikings to live in, which became Normandy, land of the Northmen. Of course, I just went over Partition of Verdun. That happened in 843. I also have to memorize, 843. That's good. Other stuff, I just described Louis' Emperor and how that got separated, and now... Ooh, I like this question that I have to memorize and recite. Why were the Carolingian kingdoms unable to establish a strong defense, and to specify what enabled the Vikings to be so successful at raiding? Honestly, the Carolingian kingdom was too big. It was huge. And nowadays we have technology, we have airplanes, and they didn't even have like trains, you know, and you can't really boat across the land. It's called a car. They didn't have it. So it was so big that they could not defend themselves, because this is another reason why the vassalage system was so important and why that was really the government at the time. If, say, the Saracens, I would say Muslims, are coming from the east. Nope, south. Oh, I'm sorry. South. Yeah, I got it right. Okay, and then, so you, as a king, finally got word that they're attacking the south, so you were like, okay, I gotta send an envoy out to all my other armies and all my other places. I gotta send a guy to ride 300 miles this way, and then this way, and then they have to send guys back to me, and then we have to muster up an army, and then once I get that, then I can move over there, and then by the time you get there, they're gone. And then, while you're trying to do that, the Vikings are attacking from the north and west, and so you're trying to get away the Muslims while the Vikings are attacking over here, and then if you're trying to attack the Vikings, you're trying to attack the Muslims, and so it doesn't work. It was too big of a kingdom for the king of his kingdom to muster everything and help everybody. It was too big. Not everybody could be helped at the same time. They couldn't form a reasonable defense. And the Vikings, their ships moved faster, and they could move faster on land. So, say, in the rare chance they were able to finally muster up an army or something to defeat them or defend, the Vikings were too fast. Yet again, by the time they got there, the Vikings were gone. So, usually the Vikings would, bring in a really fast ship, set port, a lot of Vikings would come out, they'd raid along the land, go back and forth, while the ship's going this way, and then they meet back up with their ship and they go off. Or on land too, they didn't, with the Franks, I don't know if I went over this in a previous video, they had to have a ton of armor on them and a ton of weapons and all this stuff to be a knight, and it was very heavy, and they would move way slower with the Vikings, who held nothing. They were just too fast. That was why the Carolingian kingdom was unsuccessful at defending them. And even if they tried, this isn't in here, but I'll just say, even if they tried to build burhs or castles or fortifications, they would need 8 men per 13 square feet. 13 feet. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, never mind. Anyways, they had to have 8 men per certain, it was so hundreds and hundreds, thousands of men they needed for these burhs. And the peasants, they're not going to want to work for a king in some far-off land, some far-fetched. They're like, you know what, we love the United Kingdom. You can't help us, you can't defend us right here and now. Yet again, what I was saying, if they are fighting the Muslims in the south, how are they going to help you in the east, in the west, with others? And they're also being invaded by the Hungarians at this time, and the Hungarians from the east. So, they couldn't even depend on the kings for their protection. So why would they want to fight for the kings? They had to depend on the vassalage system of local lords who knew them, who also they knew could protect them and provision them, and who had places for them to be and defend locally. So, why did the concept of a universal monarchy and kingdom come to an end in this age? Oh, yeah, oops, I accidentally just went over this. So it was so much more appealing to swear loyalty to somebody local, because how the heck is a far-off king going to help you? So the Carolingians, rather than depend on the emperor to defend them against the Vikings and the Muslims and the Hungarians, because they really couldn't, the kingdom was too vast for the emperor to help everybody, they relied on local lords who could help them, who could defend them, and who could provision them. Yeah, I didn't even know that was going to be the question. Hey, look at me. Let's hope I get 100.